Alright everybody, welcome all back to Elden Ring. Here where we left off with Blythe at the good old Everjail. We are now going to shoot somewhere. Stormhill Shack. We're going to Stormhill Shack because I think there's something kind of in this general direction that I wanted to do. I can't quite remember what that is, so we'll find out together. This is an adventure for both of us, I tell you what. I can't remember what I was doing. It was something to do with playing Elden Ring. Oh yeah, we gotta get this Ash of War bug too, because Wild Strikes is actually pretty good. So this is kind of the entryway that leads to Stormvale Castle, and obviously we're not going to do Stormvale Castle just yet, but I think I was looking for a little passageway that leads to something, and I was trying to find out where the passage was at. It's like this little nature passage. Yeah, it's like over here. And I think this actually leads into another region called Liurnia of the Lakes, which is another, like, big-ass fucking region kind of north of Limgrave that we will end up doing pretty much the majority of that region after we complete Stormvale Castle. But that's kind of, I wouldn't say far away, because in the grand scheme of things, I feel like Liurnia is kind of an early game area when you just think of how big and long this game is. Dude, this game is ginormous. This game is huge. Fucking huge. So anyway, if we come over here, we can talk to this finger reader crone lady. These NPCs just sort of give you, like, cryptic hints as to, like, random things that you can go do. In a game as big as Elden Ring, with as much to do and just this much shit packed into it, you're not really going to need an NPC to give you hints as to, like, oh, here's a little idea for a quest for you. You kind of make your own quests in this game as you go. Which is part of the beauty of Elden Ring. Most games are like, here's your list of quests. Elden Ring, you make your own damn list, and you go and you do it. Sorry that I'm talking over this lady, I just don't really value what she's saying. I'm about to crack open a beer, so noise incoming. Sorry about that. I tried to do it away from the mic, but my setup is kind of close quarters right now, so. When you come to this bridge, this guy's got another warrior cookbook. We all jump on down over here, and I am pretty sure I found what I was looking for at this point. Hooray. Yay! I found the little nature passage. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this definitely leads into Liurnia, so this is kind of like an alternate way to access that region early on without having to beat Stormvale, which is just great because there's a bunch of nice early game items that we can go pick up. And having those items now, as opposed to after Stormvale, is going to be fucking amazing. So yeah, just kind of run through this little nature passage and avoid these wolves. Really, in general, in Elden Ring, you really don't want to fuck with the wildlife unless the wildlife is fucking with you and you just can't get on your horse for whatever reason. But yeah, most of the time when you encounter wolves, bears, lions, tigers, bears, the whole 9 yards, just ignore it. Don't fight. Put your life on the line to kill some wolves for no reason. Alright, we have reached sort of our destination, but not quite. We want this site of grace right here. Ordinarily, this is the first grace site that you unlock after you beat Stormvale Castle, and there's a couple of NPCs waiting there. But since we're here early, we'll go on over to this church, grab a sacred tear, and there's a guy that we can talk to. So this guy's name is Tops. Let's talk to him.
Aren't you? Then perhaps you could spare some runes. Believe it or not, I studied glintstone sorceries at the Academy of Rea Lucaria. For a small donation, I'd be happy to share my knowledge.
So he only wants 10 runes, so
Well,
might as well
bless
give
you,
it to him.
bless you. You're a true saint. My name is Topes. Presuming you're interested, I can teach you sorceries, as promised. Only, none of them are particularly great.
He's actually lying when he says
Apologies,
that.
friend.
He sells some
I'm
pretty
afraid
decent
my
shit.
meager sorceries are no match for your generosity. Oh, right. I can tell you what I know about this place. That should help a bit. You've seen that structure to the north, towering over the water. That's the Academy of Rea Lucaria, where we study glintstone sorceries. Only its doors have been closed for quite some time now. After they declared they wouldn't interfere with the shattering, the Academy cast repelling seals on the east gate leading to the capital, and the south gate leading here. As you might have guessed, the seals are still active, making entry to the Academy impossible without a glintstone key. And so I'm stuck here. A fledgling sorcerer with little chance of acquiring a key. When they cast the seals, I'd just popped out. And now I'm uprooted from my place of learning. Why not find yourself a glintstone key? Without one, you can't pass through the Academy, and you'll never reach the Erdtree capital. And if you find an extra glintstone key, perhaps, once you've tied up all your loose ends, and I can be very patient, would you consider donating it to me? I know it. I'm a bluntstone. Nary a hint of talent for sorcery. But still, my place is at the Academy.
Alright, so he tells us how to get into the Academy of Rea Lucaria, which we're not even going to be doing for a while. That's kind of the big legacy dungeon for Liurnia that we end up doing after we complete Stormveil and a bunch of other shit. So, yep, we have officially started the Tops quest line, which is very, 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 very short, pretty much. But basically, there are 2 glintstone keys that we can get our hands on. Obviously, one of them gets us in, and the other one we can give to him when the time comes. But more on that later. I'm trying to find out how to get down this fucking cliff. And I done found it, haha. Alright, so yeah, this region is very, very wet and rainy and swampy, and as you may have guessed, there's a giant lake that kind of enshrouds the entire region, because it is in fact called Liurnia of the Lakes. So if we come over here, we can get Glintstone Craftsman's Cookbook. God, can I not say the word craftsman's? It's kind of a hard word to say, craftsman's. It's not a good word. I don't like that word. It's hard. It's hard. I'm not good at it. But whatever. We get a Lost Grace over here, and of course another nomadic merchant. And an upgrade for our flasks, courtesy of the sacred tier that we picked up earlier. Was this my first level up? I think this was my first level up. I had to get my strength up to like 18, and then I think I had to get dexterity up to 17 in order to use the Bloodhound's Fang.
You're new around here. Surprised you found me in my little nook. No matter, no matter. Your money's as good as anyone else's. Why don't you take a look at my wares? Oh, but don't ask me how I got my hands on them, eh?
Alright, deal. So, this guy sells, another cookbook. I can't really afford any of this shit anyway, but all's fair because I didn't really want it. So, there's that guy. And then we just kind of do a little loop-de-loop around certain parts of Liurnia here to pick up some more shit. And we try to avoid some of these enemies, which is pretty easy because most of them are pretty unaggressive, but those guys on horses can be dicks, so don't run into them. Over here we find a Grace at the, I think this is like the Lasker Ruins, however the fuck you pronounce this. Lasker Ruins, I'll just say it like that. Yeah, I think I double rested just to reset the enemies that were chasing me. And there's another Glintstone Craftsman's Cookbook. There's that word again, Craftsman's. You know what? I'm gonna come up with a different way to say that. Instead of Craftsman's, I'm gonna start saying Kimbubula. It's a Glintstone Kimbubula cookbook. That's way more fun to say. Rolls off the tongue and everything. Doesn't try to get like stuck in my lips like that other shit. Alright, coming over here, we get the map fragment for Liurnia, which will be good. We don't really like need that at this point, but it's nice to have. Especially for my current purposes, because I'm just running around doing like, you know, item grabs and crap like that. Yeah, Liurnia is basically like a big old swamp, and then there's the entire like coast that surrounds it. So, all right, we have reached my final destination, which is this teleporter. And this teleporter takes us to kind of a shitty place. Actually, no, it doesn't. This isn't the teleporter I was thinking of. Never mind. This is the entrance to Raya Lucaria. Obviously, to get in, we need the Glintstone Key. And that meeting place map pretty much tells you where to find it. So we could go grab that right now if we wanted to, but obviously I didn't do that because we're not doing this dungeon yet. But there is a special item in this little town. So to avoid aggroing all of the enemies and just garnering the wrath of a bunch of pissed off ghosts and mages and shit, I like to go this way and just hug the right side of this little town we got here. And I think this is the Academy Gate town. I don't quite remember though. And then once we get out of the town, we make our way to this bridge where there's another finger reader lady. Chat her up.
You, please, I can read them. Your fingers, please, your fingers.
Go ahead and show her our hands again. This is a different lady, but still.
Michaela's favor can be yours. Slaughter, slaughter, slaughter. The all-hearing slaughtered, but alas, it was for naught. But all you need do is snatch it from the big pot. Pity the poor, poor fool.
I too pity the fool. Thanks, Mr. T, for that warm advice. I didn't understand a word she fucking said, to be honest. Go find a pot of gold at the end of the Lucky Charms rainbow, and then it can all be yours, and then God will come speak to you. But right now, the only God I care about is this golden seed that we end up picking up over here. That's pretty sweet. Nice golden seed. And then we can get the next map. I believe this is going to be the Liurnia West map fragment, which will reveal the majority of the region, considering we have 2 of the maps. I can't remember how many maps are in Liurnia. I think there's 3. There might just be 2. There might be 2, actually. Maybe there's 3, maybe there's 4, maybe there's 2. I don't fucking know, okay? There it is. Oh, that's Liurnia North. I think there are 3, because I'm pretty sure you definitely pick up 1 for the West fragment. But anyway, there's another Side of Grace. Good old fast travel luxury. I could have upgraded my flasks again, but we'll just save that for whenever the hell we get a better time to pause things. Oh yeah, I remember this. I think on this part, I was looking for a certain NPC, and I had kind of a hard time finding it, but I ended up finding it. I don't remember where, but one of the NPCs that you can first meet at the Roundtable Hold can be found in this area, and you can kind of start his quest line. Yeah, I was kind of just skulking around all these different ruins, like, alright, where the fuck is this dude? But at least I got some items out of it. Like some magic grease. Throughout the game, you'll find different types of grease. There's magic grease, there's like poison grease, there's rot grease, there's blood grease, there's all sorts of grease. And what it does is, it's a consumable item, and it applies whatever type of status ailment it has to your weapon. So if you use, say if you use like dragon wound grease, that applies a special grease to your weapon, and then for a short time you'll do more damage against dragons. And there's also, you know, fire grease, there's all sorts of shit, and you can just put it on your weapon and it applies that status to your weapon. Anyway, yeah, the swampy, depressing ruins of Liurnia. I like Liurnia as a region, but at the same time, it's such a depressing place, because it's just swampy, wet ruins everywhere. It's just a serious case of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, bad plumbing, shithole, water everywhere. Jackson, Mississippi justice, you know? Yeah, I'm still looking for this dude. I feel like I probably passed him a couple times, but like, even as I rewatch this, I don't even remember exactly where he's at. I just know that you find him like northeast-ish of that, what do you call it? A grace. And here comes the next part. Sorry about that weird cut. But I ended up finding him.
Answer me, would you?
So here's Dialos and his dead servant.
Never mind. But tell me if you know, would you? The whereabouts of the hidden house of those despicable fiends. The recusants who hunt their fellow tarnished. They laid hands upon my servant Lanya, and I refuse to let the insult stand. The tale of House Hoslow is told in blood. I, Dialos, swear to deliver the message.
Alright, so this guy definitely looks like he belongs in Assassin's Creed. Like straight up, he looks like Ezio. But anyway, when you first meet him at Roundtable Hold, because I actually did not talk to him there before we met up with him here, he just kind of greets you casually, and he's like, hey, yeah, my servant Lanya is missing. If you happen to run into her, can you let me know? And then after that, you run into him here. So I sort of skipped the beginning of his quest, but that's because we haven't really been to Roundtable Hold yet. We popped in for a little visit, but we didn't actually, like, do anything substantial there. Like, we didn't talk to anybody yet. We didn't do anything like that, so... Anyway. Through the next teleporter we go. And if I'm not mistaken, this teleporter takes us to... I don't want to look like an idiot and be wrong again, so I'm just gonna wait. Okay, good. I'm glad I didn't say anything. I would have been wrong again. Okay. So there's the Liurnia West map fragment. Teleporter takes us right to it. There's another Grace. And, if you haven't guessed, we are in the western region of Liurnia. Liurnia is a pretty cool region because there's a lot of shit to do there, too. It's kind of like, Limgrave in the sense that it's, you know, it's a pretty early game area, but there's just a lot to do. A lot to see and do and discover. But as you can see, as we roll through the King's Realm ruins there's a fucking invisible fake wall. And if we break it, it leads to a whole nother fucking region. How about that shit? Alright, let's talk to good old E.G. here.
Well, look at you. We don't receive many visitors. I presume you are tarnished? What brings you here? Oh, pardon me. It's hardly my place to ask, is it? I am E.G., a blacksmith who once served the Carian royals. An old codger who refuses to retire his rusty hammer. So here I am, still quietly plying my trade on this spot. Perhaps you'd like a display? These bones are old, but still able.
So, we can just kind of exhaust this guy's dialogue.
When I'm absorbed in my smithing, I lose sight of all else. If you come too close, I'm apt to cause you harm. I am, after all, terribly large compared to you, Tarnished. You don't know how hard it is not to break anything while I work.
I bet. So, we can talk to this guy quite a bit.
A word of warning, if you please. This territory once belonged to the Carian royal family. Their manor lies not far beyond this point. When the Raya Lucari Academy turned on the Carians, the Knights of the Cuckoo descended on this tract. After leveling it, they carried on to the manor. The Carians were taken off guard, but their strength had not waned, and they repelled the Knights' onslaught by conjuring an enchanted snare that remains potent to this day. That is why I say, Tarnished, don't go near the manor, unless you wish to lie with the corpses of the heedless Knights of the Cuckoo.
Alright, now we can talk about Blythe.
Blythe actually did that. Did he? Quite a rare occurrence for such a guarded soul as he. Perhaps he sensed something unusual about you. At any rate, if you're friendly with Blythe, I've something else that might suit you. I've explained the peril of the enchanted snare.
Alright, what he means by, oh, I have something else that might suit you, is now there's an additional item in his shop inventory that we can buy.
From that death trap.
I believe it's a talisman. But I can't quite remember what the talisman does, sadly. But yeah, okay, yeah, it's a talisman. So, this guy, aside from being a blacksmith who can upgrade your weapons, he also sells somber smithing stones. He sells up to somber smithing stone 4, which is very good to keep in mind. Although, we're actually not going to have to buy any smithing stones from him, because I was able to find all of the somber smithing stones during the course of just exploring throughout the playthrough. So I never actually had to buy any of those. Yeah, he sells up to somber smithing stone 4, so if you buy all those, you can upgrade any specialty weapon to +4 right off the bat, which is pretty sick. Well, anyway, yeah, this road leads to the Caria Manor, which is definitely a later area. That is an area that we tackle after we do Raya Lucaria. And just for reference, we do Raya Lucaria when we're done with Stormveil, and we aren't even done with Stormveil yet by a long shot. So yeah, this game is long and it's big. It's big and it's strong. Okay, so welcome to the most annoying shit on the face of the fucking earth. This, I don't even know what you call this. It's a teardrop scarab. You know, the teardrop scarabs that drop ashes of war when you kill them. Only this one's invisible and it runs really fast. And I managed to hit it on the first try, but luckily that one just so happens to be ginormous. So it has a big hitbox and it's kind of easy to get that one. Throughout the game, you'll find a couple more of those, and believe me when I tell you that they will probably give you psoriatic arthritis and a fucking stroke. They are so hard and so tedious and so annoying. You will eat your own head, dude, trying to do some of the, or take down some of those. Those fucking invisible teardrop scarabs. But anyway, I don't know what I was looking for at this point. No fucking idea. No idea. Well, we met Master E.G. And we've got a pretty significant portion of Liurnia covered in terms of our little starting loop that we're doing. Like I said, we're not doing content yet. We're not actually really playing the game yet. We're just doing some preliminary early game stuff so that I could get the kind of head start that I wanted. Also, we're starting NPC quests because I wanted to do pretty much most, if not all, of the NPC quest lines. And trust me, we haven't even met, like, half the NPCs yet. I know it seems like we've met, like, a ton of people. We're just getting started. Like, we haven't met shit. We've met, like, 25% of the population of interactive NPCs in this game. And these motherfuckers have got quests, and they have got requests, and we're gonna fulfill it. Because goddammit, we're gonna become the fucking Elden Lord. We're gonna be the best Elden Lord since Barack Obama. Or George W. Bush. People forget how funny George W. Bush's presidency was. I'm not here to get political, but like George W. Bush, when he said shit like "fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, you don't get fooled again." All right, there's a walking mausoleum right there that we're just gonna not get stepped on by. If you get stepped on by a walking mausoleum, you can go ahead and just turn yourself in as a certified retard because it's kind of impossible. I mean, it can happen, and it will do a ton of damage to you and possibly kill you. But if you really get stepped on by something that slow, I just gotta wonder why your grandkids are so sadistic that they're giving you this hard of a game to play in your old age. But alright, now that we're on this side of, what is this? I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, a little note on those jellyfish there. The jellyfish I love the jellyfish in this game because, the regular colored, like blue, purple jellyfish will never attack you unless you attack them. The red jellyfish are kind of ornery and they will attack you if you get close to them. But other than that, you really never have to worry about the red jellyfish. They're technically hostile, but unless you get, like, right up in their shit, they're not really going to react to your presence. Welcome to this beautiful little area. A little, like, glintstone-covered, swampy plain. How gorgeous. This game is beautiful. It really is. But, I don't even remember what I was doing. Again, I should have my notes out so that I could actually be like, oh, here's what I was doing. But you know what? Like I said, this isn't like supposed to be a guide. This is just kind of a casual playthrough. We're just kicking back, dude. We're just kicking back to some Elden Ring. And I am trying to be like informative and helpful at certain points, but at the end of the day, I'm just here to fucking get my paycheck and go home. I'm just joking. That made no sense. I don't get a paycheck from YouTube. If you couldn't tell, you know, by all 63 of my subscribers. When does this YouTube money show up? When does it show up? Yeah, I don't know what I was doing here. I was probably just trying to locate yet another stupid little optional objective that I wanted to knock out. I think I might have been trying to locate... you know what? I have an idea. That burp had nothing to do with the idea that I just had. Hear me out. I'm going to try to find my old Elden Ring notes. And by old, I mean approximately a week old. If even that. Alright, we're back at the King's Realm ruins. Probably because I needed to get a better angle at the landscape to get down this cliffside. And I probably died, didn't I? I didn't die from that? Holy shit. I was probably like a foot and a half from triggering the Elden Ring, like, auto death from fall damage. Fall damage is pretty all or nothing in this game. Like, you either die or your character just gets up and shrugs it off. But I think... Oh, okay. I think what I was trying to do here was I was trying to obtain the next Somber Smithing Stone. I think there's a Somber Smithing Stone +3 over here that we can pick up. I think. And if that is true, that means that we get to upgrade the shit out of Bloodhound's Fang when it comes time to switch to that weapon. And if you're wondering why I haven't switched to that weapon yet, I already sort of talked about this, but obviously, weapons in this game, most weapons have scaling and stat requirements. Meaning, if you don't have a certain amount of level up points into certain attributes, you cannot properly use the weapon. You can still technically try to use it, but you'll do, like, no fucking damage. So, one way that you can sort of circumvent some of that is you can two-hand the weapon instead of one-handing it, which is, you know, that's fine, which is kind of what I normally do in this game anyway. I like to two-hand Bloodhound's Fang, and I don't really rely on my shield a whole lot. I just kind of roll and do dodges and dippity-doos and shit like that. So, in regards to Bloodhound's Fang, we're going to start upgrading it. It's going to do a ton of fucking damage pretty much the entire game. But in the early game, it's just going to absolutely shred everything. Like, this early game build that we're going for is just going to absolutely fuck every enemy and boss right in its poontang. But, yeah, like I said, if you two-hand a weapon, let's say that you don't have, like, high enough strength to wield a certain weapon. If you two-hand it, you can probably wield it, because two-handing a weapon actually cuts down on some of the strength requirements. I can't remember exactly by how many points, but it's pretty significant. So, if you really want to use a weapon, but the game says that you can't properly wield it because you're not strong enough or whatever, you can probably get away with wielding it if you two-hand it. However, I like to at least have the option to one-hand every weapon, just in case I do want to use a shield or have another weapon in my left hand. So, to that effect, we're going to wait until we are more properly leveled up, and then we'll switch to Bloodhound's Fang. And Bloodhound's Fang is, like, reputably just one of the community's favorite weapons. And it's so stupidly strong. Even, like... So this is about a year or so after Elden Ring's been out, right? Like, they've been patching this game, updating it left and right. They've been changing different mechanics. Bloodhound's Fang is still busted. Like, it is literally a big, curved greatsword that you get at the start of the fucking game. And it just, it's literally old reliable. It just is. It's so good. It's stupidly good throughout the entire game. As long as you properly scale into it with your level ups, you kind of tailor your build for it, and you upgrade it continuously, then it's a damn good weapon that's going to take you through the entire game. And you get it at the very start if you defeat the Bloodhound Knight Darwill. And Bloodhound Knight Darwill can be kind of an imposing boss to fight on your own this early in the game, which is why you enlist the help of Blide. As long as you start the Blide quest line, that boss, he kind of beats that boss for you. You just kind of have to get in a couple of hits and make sure that Blide doesn't get killed. But anyway, welcome to the Church of Vows. I love this place, and you're going to find out why. It's because of that guy right there. That beautiful son of a bitch. That's right. He's a giant talking priest turtle. He's a pope turtle. He's a pope turtle. He's awesome. Yeah, we're going to talk to this guy.
You're tarnished, aren't you? I welcome you to the Church of Vows. I am Miriel, steward of this sacred chamber. My apologies for the unseemly state of affairs. Do you know the origin of this place? How it came to be known as the Church of Vows? Well, that is a shame. But who can blame you? The shattering has caused us, all of us, to lose sight of something very dear. It is here, at the Church of Vows, that the great houses of the Earth Tree and the Moon were joined by the matrimonial bond between red-haired Radagon and Renala of the Full Moon. And so our church holds in view the monuments of both houses, the Earth Tree of the capital and the Academy of Rea Lucaria. Oh, was there something you needed? You are free to show yourself around. I would serve as your guide, only my legs aren't what they used to be. If you find anything of
There isn't
use,
exactly much to
you are
look
free
at
to
here.
take it
I mean,
with
what are
you.
you gonna show me
Unless
anyway?
perhaps you are in search
Oh,
of
this
instruction.
broken wall used to
I'm sure
have
I could
paintings. One of them had a picture of me looking really cheeky. Yeah, we can ask this guy all sorts of shit. He also sells sorceries and incantations. He sells sorceries and he sells them both. We can also give this guy the Academy Scroll, but I'm saving it for another
Lord Radagon was a
NPC.
great champion, possessed of flowing red locks. He came to these lands at the head of a great golden host. When he met Lady Renala in battle, he soon repented his territorial aggressions there, and became husband to the Carian queen. However, when Godfrey, first Elden Lord, was hounded from the lands between, Radagon left Renala to return to the Erdtree capital, becoming Queen Marika's second husband and king consort, taking the title of Second Elden Lord. The mystery endures to this day as to why Lord Radagon would cast Lady Renala aside, and moreover,
So that he could be
why
king.
a mere champion would be chosen for the
That
seat
seemed
of
pretty obvious to
Elden
me.
Lord.
Just off the first telling of that story.
You
Now we
wish
can
to
ask
know
him about
more
Renala. This is all
She
totally
is
optional,
queen,
but
head of the Carian
I like
royal
lore.
family and governor of the Academy of Rea Lucaria, the great and beautiful full moon witch. Sadly, her heart was broken when Lord Radagon left her, and then, when the Academy rebelled against the royals, she was locked away in the Grand Library.
alright. Like I said, if you want, you could give this guy the Academy Scroll, and it'll expand his inventory, and you could buy more spells from him. But I am saving that scroll for another NPC. I don't think it actually really matters from a quest standpoint which NPC you give scrolls to,
Well done indeed.
but just in
You
case,
made it through that entire
I was saving it.
mess all the way to Stormvale.
But we'll check in with our
Off
first
you
friend,
trotted to the
White Mask
Roundtable
Varre here.
Cult. My sincerest congratulations. But how did you find the Round Table?
Melina.
You don't have to say it. Before, the Round Table was chock full of venerated warriors. But now, it's home to puff chests and has-beens. I fear you've been terribly disappointed. I don't blame you.
I haven't even met anybody there yet, and he's just like, oh, I'm sure you hated all of them, huh?
Why not?
I don't know.
Seat. Fly straight and true, so to speak.
Isn't it kind of weird that we haven't even been to Roundtable Hold yet?
Ah, then you're interested. A wise choice.
If you want to advance this guy's quest line, make sure that you tell him that you will fly straight and true.
Great room and request audience with the 2 fingers in the inner chamber. They are the purported masters of the grace that guides your kind, the tarnished. Yes. Pay them a visit, so that you may see for yourself.
Alright, now we pretty much have to complete
Challenge Godric
Stormvale
the
Castle.
Crafted, Lord of Stormvale, to acquire a great room.
Or we have to complete Stormvale Castle to progress this guy's quest
He
line.
remains, and of course, an inheritor of a great room. Worse yet, I hear old Godric's acquired a ferocious new toy to graft. So, prepare for the worst. What's the matter? Aren't you supposed to be earning your place at the Round Table Hold? Then you must face Godric the Grafted, Lord of Stormvale. For without a great rune, you will not be granted audience. With the 2 fingers in the inner chamber.
This guy talks very seductively. You will not be granted an audience with the 2 fingers in the Round Table Hold. While he's like fingering his nipples and shit, it's just like, Jesus Christ. Alright, White Masked Varre, everybody. We'll be bumping into him again once we finally finish Stormvale Castle and, you know, kill Godric and all that. But for now, welcome to Agheel Lake, and the Dragon Burnt Ruins. Yeah, these like, fucked up villagers or whatever worship Agheel. And if you don't know who Agheel is the dragon who pretty much inhabits this lake. So if you go out into the middle of this lake, that's what happens, is you get attacked by a big old dragon. And we don't want to fight a big old dragon just yet. We're still pretty much baby leveled. I think I've only leveled up twice at this point. So I don't know why I wanted to kick. I like really wanted to kick this dog. I wanted to use the kick skill, which has got to be the lamest weapon art in the entire game. The mace just gives you a kick. I mean, it's just a fucking mace. There's nothing special about it. I don't know what else it would do, but man, what the fuck? Well, anyway, we can just ignore these enemies because they ain't hurting nobody. We'll run down here and fight some rats. Good old rats at the Dragon Burnt Ruins. At least the rats don't poison you in this game. That was always really fun in Dark Souls, am I right? Every time you'd run into rats, they would poison you every single attack. And after you get attacked like 2 or 3 times, you would be poisoned. It was amazing. And it was always, like, really early in the game where there was no way to cure poison yet. So you had to, like, run back to the bonfire and try again. God. That shit sucked. Man, I can't even talk shit, though. So this is a trap chest. And what happens if you stand in front of it when it goes off is you get ensnared and it teleports you to a different area. So it doesn't kill you or anything. It's nothing too cruel or crazy, but it can be very, very, very inconvenient if you're not expecting it. So I opted to not let the chest ensnare me that time because I have other affairs to attend to. Let's see. We're looting the fucking Dragon Burnt Ruins here, baby. There's 2 different underground sections to the Dragon Burnt Ruins. There's the one that leads you to that trap chest, and there's another one that leads you to an actual chest that has loot in it. But I think I was trying to find that one. Dogs were pissing me off. Dog enemies in video games are never fun to deal with. Like, ever. Dog enemies in, like, From Software, like, Souls-like games, and then dog enemies in the Resident Evil games can all suck my fat fucking cock. Ever since the dawn of time, I have hated dog enemies in video games. Mostly because they're just annoying to fight, because their movements are so fucking sporadic, it's hard to kill them, and then they're just jumping all over the place like fucking, like everything's a goddamn jungle gym, and they're hitting you, and they're doing damage in the stupidest ways. I just have that mentality, you know, fish are friends, not food, you know? Keep dogs out of video games in a hostile context. If you're gonna put a dog in a video game, it better be my friend, okay? It has to be my friend. It can't be an evil enemy dog. None of that shit. Yeah, at this point, I was just looking for the second little basement area. Because I wanted to get whatever was in the chest, which I don't even remember what was in the chest, but you can grab a stone sword key right there. Have I even explained yet what stone sword keys do? I don't think I have. Stone sword keys are used to unlock certain areas. Like, throughout the game, there will be, like, random little... There's another part to the video. Sorry about that. Sorry about that weird little cut. But... here it is. I ended up finding what I was looking for. I don't even remember what the hell I was just talking about. Yeah. Stone sword keys and what they do. That's right. Anyway, there's the twin blade. The twin blade is a really, really, really good dexterity weapon. And I'm pretty sure that's the weapon that you can use to create a Darth Maul style build if you're a fucking... If you're trying to play as Darth Maul. I've seen a lot of like Darth Maul build tutorials lately, and I was like, that's a cool ass idea. But anyway, we're gonna come back over here and we're gonna allow the trap chest to take us. And this ends up teleporting us to an area that we're pretty much just gonna pop in and out of. Because this area is not going to be applicable for us this early in the game. So we're pretty much going to go in, we're going to discover a grace site, and then we're going to leave. Hey, welcome to the Celia Crystal Tunnel. And there we get the gravity stone fan, or 6 gravity stone fans, 3 gravity stone chunks. I don't remember what those do. But anyway, in this area, I think I just wanted to kill that guy just to prove that, like, these enemies are a bitch at this point. But in the process of killing him, I ended up getting a Somber Smithing Stone 4, which was really, really, really good and lucky. But anyway, when you first get here, all you want to do is turn right out of that little shack that you spawn in, and then just make your way down towards kind of the bottom level of the cave. Ignore all of these hard-working crystal miner guys. Activate that summoning pool. And move on to that side of grace, and then we're leaving. We're just gonna go right on out that door, right there. We're going to be doing this area a little bit later. This area is actually not hard at all, but obviously, this low level, just starting the game out, it's going to be pretty tough. So, this is the swamp. I think this is the Swamp of Aeonia. Kind of a later-ish game area. Yep, Swamp of Aeonia. So, if you hang out in that water and you're not riding your horse, you will poison yourself with, or not really poison, but you end up getting scarlet rot. If you step in that water, you'll get a really rapid scarlet rot buildup. And the difference between scarlet rot and poison is that scarlet rot just kills you much, much quicker. It's the same concept, same principle, where it's just kind of your health goes down. It's like a slow kind of decrease in your health over time. But with scarlet rot, it's much more rapid than if you were just poisoned. But anyway, we've got another teardrop scarab here, and he's invisible. And this one is extraordinarily hard to get, and I think I ended up giving up because I just didn't feel like doing it. But if you do happen to kill this teardrop scarab, you get an Ash of War called Poison Mist, which if you're going for a poison build early in the game, this Ash of War can be really beneficial. I will say, though, it's not the best. If you're going for a poison build, you can definitely do better than this Ash of War. There's definitely better ones that you can get, and they're a lot less annoying to obtain. But yeah, I ended up just giving up because I was like, you know what? I don't want to. I don't want to dick around with this for like an hour. So pretty sure I ended up getting him later because we end up, you know, obviously coming back into this region. But yeah, the Song of Vaonia kind of sucks because it's just a big scarlet rot swamp, and you can't go anywhere without getting scarlet rot unless you're on your horse. But yeah, this area is not actually as bad as another scarlet rot swamp. Also, there's a boss over here. Commander O'Neill. Obviously, we're not fighting him yet, but when we do end up fighting him, he's actually kind of hard. I think I actually ended up beating him on the first attempt, but it was kind of a tumultuous little affair. But yeah, we're not going to fight him yet. He's actually kind of hard. He's also got a bit of a gimmick where he can summon enemies to help him. But rest assured, we'll get to him when we get to him. He's got a nice rune arc right there and a site of grace here, so we can reset this fucking cavalcade of bullshit that's chasing us. Right as I rested, something tried to kill me. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. I was probably checking my notes or something at this point. I was like, alright, well, now go obtain that map. But I know for a fact we don't really end up doing much in the Aeonia swamp just yet. There's just not really much reason to be here. Except for a little bit of random item grabbing. So watch out for that, like, mage guy right there. I can't remember exactly what these enemies are called, but they are incredibly lethal. They're pretty easy to kill in terms of health. Like, they don't really have a whole lot of health. But they have certain attack combos that will just absolutely melt you. So this is Celia Gateway, and I didn't want to be here just yet. So I turned around. That leads to Celia Town of Sorcery, which is a pretty neat little area that we get to do later. Once we kind of get down to business in this particular region, which this region is Caelid. And Caelid, when I first played the game, I thought this region was like really, really intimidating, mostly because of like just the fact that visually it's just like, don't get me wrong, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, and it's stunning to look at. But it is a shithole, you know? Like, you look around and you're like, wow, this place is a fucking wasteland. And because of that, and because there are some really ginormous enemies here, I was kind of intimidated by this region. Also, that Knight's Cavalry just scared the shit out of me. I forgot that that even happened. Yeah, that was the Knight's Cavalry. Those are bosses that you find. Those are field bosses that you kind of find scattered in different places throughout the game. And they're actually extremely easy. But because I didn't see that guy coming, and I wasn't really in the mood to fight a boss just yet anyway, he just ambushed me and killed me. Fair enough. Not really too worried about dying this early in the game. But yeah, this is Caelid. Caelid is kind of a mid-game region. Not really late game, kind of mid-game. You end up kind of doing Caelid once you knock out a bunch of shit in Liurnia and a few other like sub-regions. But yeah, Caelid is a big place with lots to do, and it's pretty much just a scarlet rot fucked wasteland. The place has been fucked by scarlet rot, and that's pretty much the only lore that I know about Caelid. But I was actually surprised, because like I said, when I first played the game, I was intimidated by Caelid overall, but I actually, like, it's actually a really fun region. I actually really like it. It's a fun place to be, and there's a lot of cool stuff to do. And it's not nearly as shitty as I first thought.
I am Varre, a great sage. In my day, anyway.
Oh yeah, so this part's pretty fucking hilarious. Brace for this shit.
strapping young tarnished, able to cross.
Also, that giant dog is breathing scarlet rot, so... I was trying to talk to this guy, because this is Gowrie, and he kind of starts a quest line. But then, something pretty unfortunate happened. Not this, but this. So the giant fucking watchdog thing kills Gowrie, and then for some reason when he dies, his corpse turns into those weird, like, crawfish enemies. I think those enemies are literally just called pests. That's the name of the enemy. They're called pests. But for some reason, that guy Gowrie turns into one of those when he dies. And this piece of shit, I'm trying to start, like, the Gowrie questline interaction, and this piece of shit watchdog kills him. So, when that happened, I kind of panicked. I was like, oh no, I just lost an NPC that's gonna be part of a quest later. What the fuck? So I go on Google, and I'm panicking, and I'm like, shit, does this ruin my game? Do I need to, like, restart for the sake of my playthrough, and just so things aren't ruined? And it turns out, that happened to almost everybody. I swear to God, I saw countless, just a sea of posts on the internet everywhere. Reddit, GameFAQs, game forums, everywhere. Of people who said that it happened to them too. So it happened to everybody. That dog is just born to kill that man. It happened to fucking everybody. And luckily, you don't have to worry about it.
Oh, this is a rare occasion. I can't.
Okay, so we're talking to a really... I'm going to pause the video real quick because we're talking to Gideon, and he's kind of an important NPC, and I don't want to interrupt the dialogue, but I also need to finish explaining my point. You don't need to worry about Gowrie getting killed, because if he does die, he just respawns the next time you rest at a grace site and reset that area. So if he does get killed by the giant dog, don't worry about it. He respawns, and you can still do the quest that he's a part of later. That's all I needed to say. Now we're going to talk to Gideon. Sorry about the weird pause.
I remember the last time a new tarnished made their way to the round table. Very well. As your senior, I bid you welcome. It is safe here. You may let down your guard. Allow me a word of advice. As your senior, you are a mere visitor to the round table. Nothing more. A house guest. Yet to earn their keep. Remember your place, newcomer. There's nothing left to say. Be at your leisure.
Okay.
There's nothing left to say.
Alright, so there's Gideon Ofnir, and hey, it's Roderica.
Nice to see you again. My name is Roderica. I should have told you sooner.
I already knew your name, darling.
The Roundtable.
I'm one of them telepaths.
Covert quarters of the two.
I can start fires with my thoughts.
Place of champions who vie to become Elden Lord. I never knew the guidance bestowed upon us tarnished had such fantastic roots. Although it's all a bit much for me, in truth. I'm still looking for my own purpose. It's all a bit much for me. Alright, so now that we're at Roundtable Hold finally, there are a shitload of NPCs that we're going to meet. So we're going to go ahead and meet the family, and I'm just going to shut the fuck up and not talk while we're here. So, bye-bye.
I can scarcely believe it myself. Did they think me a fool? You might be surprised to learn I took them up on the offer. Then I only had to ask. The location of the recusant hideout. It's on Mount Gelmir, found off the old road that leads west from the town of Windmills. That's where they hide. The manor on the peak. Just you wait, wretched recusants. You'll rue the day you insulted my name by laying hands on Lanya. The tale of House Hoslo is told in blood, after all. It's on Mount Gelmir. That's where they hide. Just you wait. The tale of...
You've met Garank, I take it. Then owing to our duties shared, we are now comrades in arms. I think you've earned this. The power of the Golden Order to aid the hunt of those who live in death. I serve the Golden Order, that I might put this crooked land to rights, following only the guidance of the great Elden Ring. Those who live in death fall outside the principles of the Golden Order. Their mere existence sullies the guidance of gold, tainting its truth. And so it is the vermin must be exterminated, down to the very last.
So D sells a couple of incantations, and if you want to buy them, I would actually recommend the Sacred Blade one, because it enchants your weapon with holy damage, which can be pretty handy for dealing with certain enemies like skeletons in catacombs.
By the two fingers, and explore the secrets of the Golden Order, so that one day, if a tarnished of the Roundtable hold should become Elden Lord, I might counsel them, ensuring order regains its proper form, righting rule over men. By the way, do you still see it? The guidance of grace. You do? Wonderful news. Most tarnished are blind to it these days. You are something of a rare breed. Well, what do you say? Care to learn an incantation of the two fingers?
So this guy sells incantations, which we'll actually be buying a couple of these later, but not just yet.
Shine through you.
Alright, so now we still need to go meet the blacksmith, and then we need to meet Fia. And then eventually more people will show up at Roundtable Hold. People kind of come and go throughout the game when it comes to Roundtable Hold, which is kind of cool.
Greetings,
but here's Fia.
Called by grace. I am Fia. Circumstances have compelled my stay at the Roundtable Hold. Great champion, would you allow me to hold you? But briefly, perhaps you might share with me some of your lively vigor and your stout-heartedness. Doing so will grant me the warmth of a champion, and you, I am sure, will bear a Baldakin's blessing. Do you think it vulgar, perhaps? Where I come from, it is a sacred act.
So we're gonna let her hold us. And here comes a mechanic that went ahead and confused every single person who played this game for the first time. So when Fia gives you a hug, you get a Baldakin blessing. I'll wait until the dialogue is finished to explain this shit.
You was a Baldakin's blessing. Though it is but a fleeting thing, I am afraid. Come back to me, should you require another. I will take you in my arms as often as you need.
So, when she hugs you and gives you the Baldakin blessing in your inventory gives you a debuff where you technically take more damage from, you know, attacks and, you know, whatnot. You just take more damage in general. It has some kind of other effect, but I can't quite remember what it is. But people were really pissed when they found out that hugging the sexy deathbed hug mommy gives you a debuff instead of a buff. But what actually happens is having the Baldakin blessing in your inventory is what causes the debuff. If you use the Baldakin blessing, it undoes the debuff, and it actually gives you the buff that the Baldakin blessing provides. Hopefully I explained that in a way that makes sense, because Jesus Christ, that confused everybody. But when we talk to the blacksmith here, this is Hugh. We're going to talk to him about Roderica.
I saw another one like her long ago. Their eyes share the same hue. I see you've noticed the chains. Nothing special. I'm a prisoner and these are my chains. I'm trapped by the hold. I'm dying, smithing for you fools.
Hey man, you're smithing for the future Elden Lord. When I become Elden President, I will set you free.
Don't read too much into it. Well, no grudging.
I'll give you anything you want when you're Elden. When I'm Elden Lord.
Besides, I don't mind smithing. Despite my differences, the weapons get stronger all the same. Given time, technique never fails. Besides, it helps me forget the sheer terror of her.
Alright. So, obviously, Hugh, being a blacksmith, he can upgrade your weapons. He's kind of like my go-to guy with weapon upgrades, even though you've got your choices. Like, you can upgrade your own weapons if you find smithing, or, you know, anvils and shit. But obviously you can go to like Master EG, you can go to this guy, but I usually just go to this dude.
You're telling me I possess some kind of gift?
So we'll tell her what the blacksmith said.
But if I do have this talent, and goodness knows it would be my first, I suppose I should try to hone it, shouldn't I? I'll ask Master Hugh to teach me. Certainly he does appear intimidating and holds no love for us tarnished. But I know he's trapped here at the Roundtable Hold, so I can tell. He's a gentle soul underneath it all. If I do have a talent for spirit, I suppose I should try to...
Roderica is so goddamn wholesome, dude. She's such a sweetheart. But we'll run back over to Master Hugh, and we pretty much just have to, like, do a bunch of back and forth, like, oh, this person said this person said this.
What about her?
So now we tell him what she said.
Out of your mind. Who'd stay with an ugly brute who only knows how to smith? Absurd. Besides, she'd never agree to it. I refuse to believe it. I don't doubt you, but I know when something's too good to be true.
Alright. So, now I think we just have to go talk to Roderica one more time and be like, hey, the blacksmith is willing to take you in as an apprentice or whatever the fuck. Alright, so she's just going to take initiative and ask on her own. And in completing that little quest interaction doohigmabob, Roderica will become a spirit tuner, and that means that we can use her to upgrade our spirit summons, which is going to be super duper handy. Yeah, we need a stone sword key. Actually, I think we need 2 stone sword keys to open this. And on the other side of that door, it's basically just a big old room, and there's a chest in there, and on the other side, there's another fog wall with another stone sword key that you can use to open it. And it's basically just a bunch of mage stuff that I don't really care about right now. So if you're a mage, if you're going for like a mage build, I'd say go in there as early as you can. But over here, we've got this guy, and I think his name is Ensha. He's got cool armor. He looks like Skeletor. And he's an asshole. I'm not going to spoil why, but hey, it's whatever. Anyway, I think I ended that video here. I believe I did. What was I doing here? Was I looking for like a cool gesture to do? Yeah, anyway, that room behind me is Gideon's room. So whenever you want to interact with Gideon, that's where you end up finding him. But I'm assuming the next video is about to start. No, we still got like a minute to go. I don't know why I did that gesture. What the fuck? Whatever. Anyway, these are the twin maiden husks, and they are they're merchants. They're a merchant. They sell very, very useful items like rune arcs and some random shit like armor and weapons. But yeah, especially rune arcs. Those are the best things they sell. There's a little bit more to them than that, but we'll get to that later. Was this goodbye? Oh, I was doing my cool pose. Oh yeah, dude, I love that. That is the best gesture. That is the only thing about Ensha that I like, is he gives you this sweet gesture. Alright. Going into another part here. We're going to gate front. I think this was pretty much the point where we're done running errands and we're just going to start fucking playing the game. Which is great. Alright, so yeah. Starting here in gate front. We're just going to start killing people and there's an item here that we're going to grab. But for now, just worry about clearing out the enemies and not dying. So that enemy right there, he's got a fucking trumpet on his side, as you can see. This piece of shit. So if this guy catches you, he pretty much blows his trumpet, and then that aggroes every enemy in the entire area. So in order to avoid that, we'll pick these guys off one by one, nice and careful. And obviously try not to get ganked up on. That guy who's patrolling the road behind us there, he's going to be the hardest enemy in this area, so we'll kill him last. For now, we'll just take these guys out. There is kind of another, like, underground, basement-y kind of area that we'll be able to access. And we will grab, I can't remember what item it is. No, I don't remember. I give up. Look at that parry. Did you see that shit? That's probably the only time I ever pulled off a successful parry in this entire playthrough. Parrying is fucking weird in Elden Ring. It really is. I'm bad at it. I know that. We got some wolves over here. Then we've got this other Godric soldier. And I guess I was feeling kind of big for my britches. Because I was like, oh, I'll totally parry this guy. Yeah, I'm just not really good at parrying. I haven't really, like, practiced parrying a whole lot in Elden Ring, to be fair. But, I don't know. I didn't really practice parrying a whole lot in Dark Souls 1. I was kind of good at it in Dark Souls 1. Granted, I guess I did sort of practice, because the final boss of Dark Souls 1, obviously when you're fighting Gwyn, you kind of have to parry him. Like, there's literally no other way to beat that guy. So, when you're fighting Gwyn in Dark Souls 1, it's kind of parry or bust. But, take out the last remaining dudes, and then we'll run down here and grab some fucking buried treasure. Grab us some buried treasure. And we get Ash of War Storm Stomp and the Whetstone Knife. The Whetstone Knife is an extremely important item. Don't miss that. You need the Whetstone Knife in order to put different Ashes of War on different weapons. Yeah. Now we're going to fight this guy. Sneak up on him and get a backstab. And then fight him normally. But yeah, this guy can actually fuck you up if you're not careful, so if you don't want to fight this guy, you don't really have to. You don't really get anything too crazy out of it, but of course he's got a butt buddy that showed up and was like, "Oh, stay away from my friend. Trust me, we're not into that stuff." Yeah, we got a spear guy with a great shield. And another guy. Wow, I got real lucky here, didn't I? Let's see how I pull this situation out of my ass. Guard counter. So, whenever you are in the middle of a backstab animation, or a parry animation, or a guard counter animation, you will always have invincibility frames the entire time, as you can see. And it's very important that you learn to exploit that kind of shit. It's just a random mechanic that everybody should know about. But yeah, like I said, this guy can be kind of tough, but I just want to beat him just to beat him. I don't think he drops an item, but I also wouldn't be surprised if he did. But yeah, you just want to watch out for those, like, repeat spear thrusts, and I would recommend rolling. I'm definitely blocking to try to absorb some of that shit, but also, when you kill that guy, it's fairly common for him to drop random pieces of armor, which is pretty good. Like that time I killed him, he dropped his leggings. I don't know how good the armor is, considering that the armor that you get when you pick the Vagabond starting class is like really good. It's probably not as good as the Vagabond set, but it's probably pretty decent. If you're playing as a Wretch as your starting class, it's probably pretty good. It's something, considering you start out with like no armor if you're playing as a Wretch. Alright, we're going to pass time and wait till daytime, because it's a little bit easier to consolidate your operations in Elden Ring if it's daytime. And we're switching to this video. Sorry that the resolution is suddenly so shitty, but it should be good now. It's not. It's not good. Alright. I'm going to pause that, so I don't want to force you guys to watch a shitty, low-resolution YouTube being a bitch video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, what was that, part 3? I believe so. So yeah, going into part 4, we're going to start actually tackling content. So we're going to actually, you know, we're not going to be prepping or doing early game errands anymore. So it'll be far more entertaining from here on out, I promise. So with that, I'm going to take one more little sip of my beer here, and we're going to sign out. That'll be Elden Ring Part 3. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you guys, you know, maybe learned something along the way. Who knows? But I will see you for Part 4.